Happy New Year, Internet. Stream here, and this is my first MTG stream of the new year. I hope you all had a good holiday break. Mine was restful and fun, but I'm excited to start a new year of MTG content. In fact, I'm going to be stepping things up on my channel, getting a bit more serious, and really committing myself more to MTG, both as a content creator and as a player. So I'm going to be adding a third MTG stream every week and a third vid that I'll be posting to my YouTube channel as well. I'll still mostly be standard focused, but I plan on dipping more into modern and perhaps pioneer also. Now, I've been running my channel for years, and in that time, I've really treated it more like a hobby than a job. That's going to change. I'm going to be going at MTG and content creation as hard as I can for the next little bit here to see if I actually like doing it, putting in all the work required, and second, if I'm good enough to get any traction as an MTG YouTuber, or any chance of it being a possible career path for me. So I'm adding Sunday MTG streams from then on. It'll be MTG streams every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Non-MTG content will also be stepped up, and I'll be posting some more music content at long last pretty soon. That's something I've always meant to get back to after the first sort of concert I did right when I launched my channel. So this is all very exciting for me. The new year is the perfect time to renew my focus on my channel, level up my MTG game, and make my content the absolute best that it can be, because doing your best is a virtue. Speaking of which, tonight's standard list is all about virtue. Let's try to Voltron our way to victory with some virtuous control. So, Virtuous Control is an Azorious control deck, and we're using Absolute Virtue as our WIncon. Absolute Virtue is 8 mana for an 8/8 can't be countered flyer to legendary creature. You have protection from each of your opponents, meaning they can't target us with anything that they have. They can't deal any damage to us with their creatures in combat is the most important thing. Basically, it kind of nullifies everything that's come before. Except for things that can interact with a Virtuous Control. So the idea is to play this 8 mana creature, without dying before we die, and then to protect it so that it sits on the battlefield, nullifying our opponent's entire board, and eventually winning the game by attacking as an 8/8 flyer. So first things first, we've got to be able to successfully cast this 8 mana spell, which means we're going to want to ramp. Now, how are we going to do that in Azorious? The first way is with good old Treasure Map. This is 2 mana enchantment. For 1 mana, you can tap it to scry 1, put a landmark counter on it, then if there are 3 or more landmark counters on it, you flip it into a land and create 3 treasure tokens. So the land itself can sack a treasure to draw a card, but really, if you think about it, this adds 4 to your mana count, because the treasure map itself flips into a land, and it also generates 3 treasures. So although this is slow, you have to spend 1 mana, tap it, and scry with it. So it's going to take a minimum of like 2 other turns after you cast the treasure map to flip it. But at the point that it does, it ramps you by 4, which is actually pretty substantial chunk of the way to getting Absolute Virtue down. The other way we can ramp is with an Offer You Can't Refuse. Now, this is really weird. It's a 1 mana negates counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. So it's a 1 mana negate that's kind of bad in most situations because it gives your opponent 2 treasures, but we can actually counter our own spells in order to add 2 treasure tokens to the battlefield in a situation where that will help us cast Absolute Virtue. So this card seems like double duty. We can use it on our own stuff. Yes, we go down cards, but we do get 2 treasures to help us ramp into Absolute Virtue. Also, like later in the game, this helps us protect Absolute Virtue because it's a 1 mana negate. Yes, it gives our opponent 2 treasure tokens, but are they going to have another removal spell after we counter the one that we counter with this spell? So we're counting on the fact that this is just good value for the mana cost, and that we can tap low on mana and still have a protection. So we also have a couple of Gleaming Barriers, which are just 0/4 defenders, that when they die, we get a treasure, a little bit of ramp, a little bit of protection against aggro, and we got a couple of Collector's Vaults, which can create treasure tokens and help us dig for the virtues as well. And that's another thing that's really good about treasure maps, is that they actually help us find Absolute Virtue, which is something we need to do. We can't really win the game without Absolute Virtue. We need to find it. Treasure map lets us dig for it, as we also end up ultimately ramping, which is the reason why it's good enough for this brew, I believe. So now the obvious question is, why aren't you running green if you want to ramp into this 8 mana card? The reason is primarily because the mana is much more messy if you add the 3rd color, particularly, if you're adding like Selesnya into an Azorious deck, you're already, you don't have a Hollow Fountain, you don't have Temple Garden. You're really slowing down the speed and consistency of the mana base. We want our lands to come into play untapped most of the time, because we do need to be able to make plays and like hold up counter spells. So adding green to the mix would just be a bridge too far, in my opinion. And really, the treasure map it is sufficient in testing to get Absolute Virtue down by the time that we can protect it and that it will win the game for us. So yeah, we need to find our Absolute Virtues. We talked about the treasure maps, the gleaming barriers. We're running 2 sleight of hands also. It's good to have 1 mana card draw spells, because cheap spells we can counter more easily, you know, if we need to, with an offer you can't refuse, to get those treasure tokens down. So we'd like to have a kind of curve of card draw. We've got consult the star charts on 2/4, and we've got a 1 of stock up. So really we should be able to find our virtue. And then when it comes to protecting the virtue, you know, we have the 4 offer you can't refuses. We are playing 3 of Swiftfoot boots as well, just 2 mana equipment we can equip for 1 to make our virtue hexproof, and we're running 3 of restoration magic, just 1 mana, make our virtue hexproof and indestructible to the end of the turn. Indestructible means that it can survive sweepers, in fact, so that's something that we're interested in. So yeah, we're really trying hard to protect the virtue as much as possible. In fact, we really don't ever want to play it with just 8 mana up. We really want to have 9 so that we can immediately slap on Swiftfoot boots or protect the virtue with an offer you can't refuse or restoration magic. And then we just got to stay alive long enough to get to our virtue. We've got plenty of removal and control to do that. We've got a couple of authority of the consoles. We got 2 seam rips. We've got a couple of get losts. We've got a split up, and 3 Day of Judgment for sweepers in our main board, more in our sideboard. So yeah, that's the plan. We're just going to play Absolute Virtue. We're going to protect it. Our opponent should not be able to really affect us. The only thing we'll care about at that point is anything that can, you know, interact with the Virtue, which we can protect against quite well. 23 lands in our mana base is really enough. Again, we really don't want to play too many tap lands. We've only got 4, a couple of anchorages, and 1 Agna Kela, our tech, as well as a couple of fountain ports and 2 demolition fields. The sideboard contains authorities number 3 and 4 against those aggro matchups. We've also got split up number 3 to board in against aggro and mid-range matchups. Annul and exercise are here against artifacts and enchantments. So one thing that we really hope not to face is like Unholy Annex, because effects that just drain us for life every turn or make us lose life are not protected by the Absolute Virtue. So that's why we've really hoped to not run into that, and that's why we've got to be prepared for it in our sideboard. We've got an Essence Scatter in this side as well against creatures. Clarion Conquerors are here against like the Badger Mole Cub decks that have a lot of like stuff that activates. We've got Restoration Magic number 4 against matchups like white and black decks that have a lot of spot removal. 3 Rest in Peace is our Graveyard Hate. We got a couple of Voice of Victory against control decks and decks that want to play at instant speed. 1 Sword of Vengeance is a little janky, but there'll be some decks where like they'll have a lot of flying blockers. You know, decks that are playing like the white Overlord, for instance, will just be able to generate chump blockers every turn. The Sword of Vengeance we can equip for 3 to give our virtue +2/+0, First Strike, Vigilance, and Trample. Which means that it can trample right over those weenie little moth tokens or whatever other flying blocker our opponent might be presenting. So that is Virtuous Control. Let's see if we can't Voltron our Absolute Virtue onto the board, survive long enough to make it stick. If you like off-meta MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. A lot of it coming your way this year. Siva will be our first opponent with our Virtuous Control deck. We're down here in Silver Tier after the reset, so maybe we won't be facing tier deck after tier deck tonight. And our hand looks fine. Collector's Vault's kind of my least favorite ramp piece, but we'll keep this. But it's really all about the treasure map. Yeah, just play a land. You just scoop to plains. Okay. Forsaken Miner. Whenever you commit a crime, you can pay a black to return it to the battlefield, so they are some kind of recursion-oriented deck. I think we will just cast our Collector's Vaults. We gonna do this tonight, Sivo? Does that really change your play? Okay, we might be facing an Unholy Annex deck, which is unfortunate, because that's a card we really don't want to face. But Mono Black's showing Soulstone Sanctuary. Alright, let us go for a Sleight of Hand. We'll take Restoration Magic to eventually be able to protect our Virtue. Do we want to seam rip one of these miners? We probably do, actually. Clock is a little fast. What else are we going to do with our Seam Rip? Seems like a good target. Sephiroth. Not going to stack the miner. Okay, there's Virtue. I think I do need to kill Sephiroth this turn, as we don't want him repeatedly sacking and drawing and draining off of miners. So I think, unfortunately, we're just going to settle for a one-for-one trade. Timeline color. All right, they are all in on these guys. Now, without any additional ramp here, I'm not really confident that we're going to get to Virtue in time. We'll see. Another Seam Rip. It's actually not bad. Yeah, so let's Seam Rip this color. Pass. More Sephiroth. Okay. Sephiroth is another way around Virtue Protection, because when he sacks stuff, he does drain and gain. I got to play a lot of Mario Party with my niece. That was really fun. Okay. Opponent does want to play. Here's an attack for 2. We'll take it. Smoked a quality cigar with your mates. Okay, we're going to activate Collector's Vault. Discard a card. Probably Restoration Magic. I like the boots better. We draw more boots. Okay. Let's use our Collector's Vault. Discard boots. Demolition Field. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So next turn we have access to 9 mana. Play our boots. That's enough to cast our Virtue and equip the boots, so let's hope they tap out. Sunset Saboteur. Let's also hope we find some way of killing Sephiroth. Like, I think we're actually too late. Yeah, we are too late, because we can't stop them. Although we get the Virtue down, we can't stop them from attacking. And that kills us, just the sack trigger. So we're like a turn too slow, unfortunately. That's too bad. So, opponent's doing that kind of stuff. We want Rest in Peace. We want Authority. Yeah, we didn't reveal what we were doing, so they're probably scratching their head, like, what is even happening? I think we want Split Up. That's probably about it. Offer, we can cut some number of. I think they're probably mostly creature focused. Although, of course, offer can be a ramp piece for us. We'll cut 2 and maybe 2 restoration magics. Those decks tend not to run too much removal. Yeah, I think we'll cut a boots, just go down to 2 restorations, 2 boots. Cut 1 Collector's Vault, and maybe 1 Sleight of Hand. Let's try this. If they didn't have the Sephiroth, we had that game. If we're not for the Sephiroth, we had it. Yeah, we got a barricade, we got a treasure map, importantly, so we're gonna keep this. Our hand is good. Seam Rip, also very handy against what our opponent's doing. Forsaken Miner. Alright, do we want to just rip now, or I think we want to get our treasure map going as soon as possible. We're doing upkeep scries every turn until it flips. Now, I didn't board in any tech against Unholy Annex. I kind of feel like they don't have it, though. The Sephiroth decks are kind of a different thing. So let's scry. We pretty much want to find a land, like, all the time. Split up. We're going to bottom that. Give me a land, please, deck. Okay, we'll take a demolition field. And yeah, let's seam rip this miner. Scry again. Next upkeep. Sunset Saboteur. Scry. Lizane, we'll take it. Draw the plane. Go to our main. Gleaming Barricade can't block the Sunset Saboteur. Could block another creature. I think we play it. Hold up offer. We could have offered it, actually. So I think we're 2 turns out from the Virtue. Next turn we flip the treasure map. Get our boots down. Strategic Betrayal. Okay, sure. We don't get a treasure off it because it's exiled. Boo. Well, better against that than against Absolute Virtue. Oh shoot, I didn't scry. Well, good thing I drew land, because that's what I would have scried for. Treasure map number 2. I believe we bottom this. Play our boots. So next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, which is the magic number. I love treasure map. It's so such old school tech, but Corpses of the Lost, yeah, good card. It's not Sephiroth, it's not Unholy Annex. It doesn't kill us right now. Okay, another land is great because we have offer to counter a sack effect. All right. Haste up our dude. Hexproof. Get in for 8. 3 turns. It's hexproof. We've got a counter against the first sack effects. We don't take any damage from their creatures. They can't target us with anything. Seam rip, sure. You can have your miner back. See, it's like the WIncon plus the sweeper in one, you know? Because it nullifies your opponent's battlefield and it wins the game. It's like a Day of Judgment plus an Overlord or something. Yes, opponent will learn about protection. They couldn't put the counter on my Virtue because of the hexproof. That's too bad. Okay. So, sure, we'll just play this Collector's Vault because we can. And we'll attack for 8. Azorious Lessons. The Azorious Lessons just aren't as good. Alright, opponent has no way out. Yeah, I think we just do the same thing. Maybe we want Essence Scatter as well? We never ever board out Virtue. We're maintaining our Virtue. Yeah, I guess we don't need Essence Scatter. We'll just run it back. Okay, Authority, Gleaming Barrier, Stock Up. Those are all great cards. We'll keep this. This should buy us plenty of time to get our setup. Okay, they lead on a colorless land. That's good news. The miner. Uses little life. Ooh, more authority. I think I'll just play this Gleaming Barrier. Another reason why I like this Azorious ramp plan better than trying to run blue is just because, like, people are so prepared for the Badger Mole decks. I just find it's really hard to keep, like, cheap creatures alive in Standard these days. Trail. Again, making us sack so we don't get our treasure. Very rude. But you know, no one's gonna stop no one's gonna counter a treasure map or stop it from being activated. No one wants to waste an exercise on a treasure map. So they warp in their thing to just be tapped and then go away. We draw Rest in Peace. I think I'll play a Rest in Peace now. Just get rid of that timeline color for good. Oh no, it's in the warp zone. Pardon me. Okay, there's Virtue. Saboteur. More miners. Alright, I would like it if Stock Up could get us like a Day of Judgment or something, or a Split Up. That would be helpful. And it'd be nice to find some ramp for our Virtue. So let's stock up. Seam Rip plus Treasure Map, I guess. I think we Seam Rip the Saboteur. It's a little too fast. We'll discard probably Authority number 2. There's the color. One of our sweepers would be very nice to draw here. We got 5. And thanks to Authority, you know, we're in decent shape life total wise. Just more land. Alright. Well. Think, like, before I forget they have this creature land, I'll just get rid of it. We'll get Plains, play Treasure Map. We'll scry on their end step, end on our turn. Case of the Stash Skeleton. Alright, scry. Day of Judgments. So, Day of Judgments. Do we even want a Day of Judgments? We're going to take 6, and then we're going to take 8. Because Day of Judgment does give them access to Demonic Tutor, basically. Yeah, we're gonna take Day of Judgment. The Demonic Tutor is slow. Hopefully we can find like a counter spell or a protection spell for whatever they tutor for, which I'm guessing will be Strategic Betrayal. Another thing we could find is a second Absolute Virtue, so even if they betrayal the first one, we can just cast another one. Okay. Let's Day of Judgment. Play land. Go. Another timeline color. I wouldn't mind to get lost. I would feel safer if we could not have them demonic tutor. Scry. Anchorage. I think we could bottom the Anchorage for now. Let's try again. Rest in peace. We don't need another rest in peace. Draw for turn. Go to our main phase. Okay, we don't want to play the Absolute Virtue yet. We know they have Strategic Betrayal, so if we play the Absolute Virtue on their turn, they can just Demonic Tutor for the Betrayal and play it immediately. So we need to have an answer for that before we cast Virtue. Then again, it's possible they only run one, but given the fact that they saw us play this card, I have to think they have more than one in their deck if there's more available. Okay. There's the Demonic Tutor. So, an offer you can't refuse is the card we're looking for. Alright. Let's sacrifice a treasure and draw a card. Get lost. Ah, where were you moments ago? Alright. We'll pass. Okay, let's activate our land, draw and discard. Alright, we'll discard a Plains. Fountain Port. That's good. Oh, let's play a treasure map. Let's sack a treasure map, draw a card. An offer you can't refuse. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we can play Virtue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, next turn we can play Virtue and have a counterspell to protect it. So we will go for it next turn. Faller's Faithful. Okay. You want to destroy your timeline color to draw 2 cards? Or would you prefer to get in for 2, get us all the way down to 10? We can also make a fish with our fountain port now to insulate us from strategic betrayal. I think that's what I'll do. End step. They choose not to sack their color. Okay. Make a fish. Scry. Another Absolute Virtue? Yeah, sure, we'll take it. Just in case things go disastrously wrong. Alright. Play Virtues. Pass. Shoot the sheriff. We could let them resolve this. Let's just go ahead and counter it. You can have 2 treasures. Feed the swarm. They take 8 damage. More stashed skeletons. Sure. We're just gonna take this. Consult the star charts. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana we have. I'm gonna keep a consult, I think. Yeah. So I could go for a Virtue again here. Or I could consult, try to fade this turn, consult, and then resolve it next turn with protection, hopefully. They cast 2 removal spells last turn, so I can block the 3-1. Yeah, I think I like waiting. I'm gonna wait. Consult this turn, find some way to protect the Virtue. Next turn, cast the Virtue. Ashiok. If you'd pay life, creates nightmares. Target player exile the top where X the total mana value of cards you own in exile. Okay, that's fine.
I shall unveil a beautiful nightmare.
You've been learning magic for 4 days? Nice.
Such enticing.
Like through MTG Arena? Just like playing with the pre-provided decks and cards? Welcome to the world of magic. What was it that if you don't mind my asking, that piqued your interest? Was it one of the universes beyonds, or have you just been wanting to get into magic? Okay. Let's scry. Restless Anchorage. No thanks. Let's draw a card. Boots. Okay. Block the 3-1. Go to 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Make a fish, go to 1. Kick consult. Okay. There we've got restoration magic. Plus, what else would we possibly need? Like, I don't know. Just another land, I guess, is fine. Okay. Another rest in peace. So, Swiftfoot Boots. Virtue. Oh, it left up my treasure map. Okay. Equip the boots. There we go. Now we have restoration magic as well. Think we should be good from here. The creatures can no longer damage us. Cecil gains us a life. So yeah, just as a complete starter in Arena, just try to finish your first deck, and it's kind of silly. Yep. Just try to finish your quests every day, you know? Like, every day you have 2 or 3 goals that will give you gold, and you can use those gold to buy packs. That's the best way to level up your collection. Look at the top 2, Exile 1, yep.
Open your
Just get all your gold every
mind
day.
to me.
Feed the swarm. Sure, you can have your saboteur. That doesn't matter anymore. Tragic trajectory, my fish. I think I actually protect the fish, because that opens the door for strategic betrayal. And then we just cruise on over for victory. GG's. Okay, a couple hours later, we get there with Absolute Virtue. So virtuous. Squeaky Clean Lightbringer is our next opponent. With virtuous control. We'll be on the play. Hand looks good, we'll keep. I think we'll play this as a blue source. You know, when it comes to removal spells, like, every set has like some kind of not very good removal spells, you know, in the lower rarity slots. So I think the thing that's best to upgrade right away is your lands. Having access to like untapped lands that can produce the colors you need. And of course, the Wizards makes every land, all the important lands, like rares. Like these shock lands, for instance, or these multiversal passages. But don't focus too much on removal, you know? That's kind of just like another Sunset Saboteur deck. We could Seam Rip it and discard something. What would we discard? Maybe we can just split it up later. We'll pass. Bandit's Hall. Whenever you commit a crime, put a loot counter on it. Tap it to add 1 mana. Tap, pay 2, remove 2 loot counters, draw a card. Okay. So they're going to be crimin'. An offer you can't refuse. Huh. So I could try to... Am I in a situation where I'm going to use this to ramp myself? Probably. What am I going to use? What am I going to counter, though? Probably restoration magic. So yeah, sad as it is, I'm going to end step restoration magic and counter my own restoration magic to gain 2 treasures. Which doesn't bode well for our chances in this game, although we do have a split up. More bandits' halls. Crystal barricade. Okay, well that doesn't do anything to us. Yeah, let's restoration magic. Our boost and counter it. Oh, I needed to maintain priority there. Okay, I've never tried to do that before, but I guess you have to go into full control mode to use that properly. All right, you live, you learn. We didn't draw land again, so yeah. Guess I'll just play this collector's vault. Elspeth. All right. Well, I don't think we're gonna come back from this one. So Elspeth plus weenies. All right. Let's go authority. Let's go split ups. Let's go Clarion Conqueror. That's probably about it. They're black and white decks, so I have to assume they have tons of spot removal. You can cut one offer, cut one collector's vault. Maybe I can afford to cut one restoration magic. One sleight of hand. Let's try this. All right, Sunset Saboteur deck number 2. Can we bounce back? Double authority. Seems pretty good. We'll need to find some other action, but I think we can keep this. Alright, Seam Rip, that's a good draw. Archive. We're good on lands. Treasure map, that's what I'm looking for. Authority of the consoles. Alright, you draw lands. The old Bandit's Hall. Alright, just gonna play these boots. I don't need to Seam Rip authority. Hostile Investigator. Sure, we'll discard a Plains. Sleight of hand. Let's sleight of hand. Virtue, there we go. Fountain Port. Now we do need some ramp action. Take a hit. Pyrexene Arena, okay. I think before I forget that they have this creature land, we'll just get rid of it. Grab a Plains. We draw land. Okay. Play it. Pass. They have arena going on. Intimidation tactics. Oh no! That can take our virtue. Okay. Rip. Elsbeth.
I light them. I welcome all allies.
Okay, let's create a treasure. Get lost. Well, I think we have to use that to deal with Elsbeth. So let's go ahead and just do that, I guess.
Even in this darkness, light will shine.
Giving them map tokens, of course. Get lost. Getting losses. The rise of Sozin. Oh, I don't have chat on my phone, so I can't ban that bot. Well, I don't think we can beat the Rise of Sozin, so... we need, like, a counterspell for it? So, let's sack this treasure and draw a card. Get lost. Virtue. So that means we have to get lost this hostile investigator. Yeah, I don't like our chances here. We'll pass. Yeah, we'll kill this. I guess we'll activate our anchorage. Maybe this will provoke them to cast this. Or they might just have a spot removal spell for the anchorage. How'd I guess? And me with no room in my sideboard for crystal barricades. Treasure map. Like we don't have a way to deal with that, is our major problem. Let's scry. Land to the bottom. We're looking for Not on my watch, I think, is what we're looking for. Then do I seam rip something? I might need to seam rip nowhere to run, or maybe this 2-1. I don't need to do it right now, I guess. Maybe they just attack for 3. Another hostile investigator. I meant to scry, but I think we're just dead here. Bottom that. Yeah, we're dead, right? Authority. Guess we're not technically dead on table. So, like, as cool as it is when our deck does its thing, it can sometimes just kind of flail and not do its thing, and that's what's happened in these games. We did get mana screwed game 1, but here, like, we drew our mana. The intimidation tactic did mess us up pretty good, and this one is just game winning for our opponent. So, too bad. Yeah, when we don't get the treasure map going on early, or any kind of ramp, really, the deck just kind of falls flat, which is a problem. Slade, the standard bearer, is our next opponent. See if we can remain virtuous. And yeah, treasure map in the opener is really what we're looking for. This is our best ramp card. Hello, Voice of Victory is really a pain for us. We have a seam rip for it. So this can let them exile cards. Okay, they're a sack deck, it looks like. Alright, let us scry. Virtue, yeah, we need Virtue to win. Let's draw Virtue. Go to our main phase. Seam rip. The Voice of Victory or the Toils of War? I think the Toils of War, because I can Day of Judgment the Voice of Victory. Do I need to do that next turn is a question, I guess. I don't think so. Depends on what they do. Fleet airship. Yeah, I do need to Day of Judgment because of the Phoenix Fleet airship. So, let's do that. Infestation. Cracking a clue. They get to attack with the airship. Let's scry. Restoration magic to the bottom. Draw authority. Not ideal. Fanatical Offering to sack their infestation sage. Play boots. Obsessive Pursuit. Bart. Cannot crew. What is this? At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and create a clue. Whenever you attack, put yada yada, where X is the number of friends you sacrifice this turn. So here, if I draw an untapped land, I can cast my Virtue, which I guess I need to. I can't quite. Next turn I can. So I guess that means Day of Judgment. Hope I survive. Whatever creature they get next is going to come and play tapped, so it won't be able to crew. And then the following turn I can Virtue. So we'll see. It's going to be close. If I fade this turn, I like my chances. Get lost. Okay. That's not good. Oh, I could have Restoration Magicked my authority. Yeah, I could have done that. These are all crew 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Yep, that was the big brain play. Restoration Magic my authority. So, I think we die here. Okay, so let's exercise Clarion Conqueror, annul. And we'll add the second split up. Offer Barrier, I don't think is that good. It's okay. Vault. I actually think I had it there. If I had kept my authority on the table, we had Virtue the next turn. So I think I blew it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a couple of offers. Sleight of hand. Let's try this. Yeah, again, we have treasure map turn 2, so I can't complain about this too much. It would be nice to have like a sweeper or a seam rip or something, but I think we'll keep on the play. Opponent mold to 6. Duress. Takes our treasure map. Okay, we'll play this on white. Sleight of hand. In Anchorage, I guess. Voice of Victory. Alright, let's just play Clarion Conqueror. Now, on offer we can't refuse doesn't do us much good. We can still counter our own stuff on our turn. We'll need to, you know, maintain priority. Go full control mode. There's a bat. takes our exercise. Alright, we'll just play boots. Equip our conqueror. Oh, we can't equip, actually, because of the Clarion Conqueror. Okay, a little bit of anti-synergy. I have this Bailey in my sideboard against, like, mana dorks. Okay, opponent decides they will trade their Vote to Victory for a card. That's good. Alright, there's Absolute Virtue. I think we'll just attack with our Anchorage. Hold up our counter spell. Duress. Can take our counter spell. More Voice of Victory. Star charts. Alright, let's just... We're not going to attack. We can't use our clue because of our Conqueror. We also can't consult on their turn because of Voice of Victory. So I guess we should have done that on our turn. Stupid Voice of Victory. This card is so good. Okay, they are again going to trade Voice of Victory for 2 cards this time. They've already drawn cards off of this turn, so I think that was really a waste for them. All right, let's kick our Consult. I think we want Restoration Magic plus Exercise. Boy, we would like to draw, like, the mana to cast this stuff at some point. Okay. Yeah, what to do here? Just attack with my Anchorage, I guess. Acquire another clue. Pass. We do have Restoration Magic, so we can protect our Conqueror if it's good. Voice of Victories just keep coming. I'm gonna draw 2 cards. Meticulous Archive. We don't need more Swiftfoot Boots. I guess we'll just exercise one of those caretaker's talents because we can. Deep cavern bat. Yep. Well, now I'm wishing Square and Conquer were instead like a another sweeper. That might be better tech against weenie decks. Like another split up or Day of Judgment. Get lost. Down goes the Conqueror. Alright, well, we would need like a sweeper here to start some kind of comeback. We don't find it, and we're dead because they can just activate this. Yeah, we can't play our voice. I guess we can technically kick this restoration magic, cast a big one, hope to find a sweeper next turn. Yep. Does that kill us on its own? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it totally does. Okay. Ooh. Well, okay. Clarion Conqueror in the sideboard should be another sweeper. I think we've established that. Assassin Jeff is our next opponent. And yeah, our hand looks pretty good. We can keep this. Alright, let's sleight of hand. See if we can find a treasure map. Authority. We'll take authority. Alright, authority. Gleaming barrier. Okay. Boots. We do want boots. Play barrier. Barrier should be able to protect us for a while. And, oh, opponent's playing the, like, exile everything deck. If that's what they're doing, we may not play this out, because they only need to exile one card and we literally can't win. Okay. We will play Fountain Court. Reality Fulcrum. Wrench. Alright, pass. More reality fulcrums. Well, they've got 2 authorities and a wrench in exile so far, so not too impressive. They get to look at the top 9 cards of our library. Alright, let's consult. We'll grab treasure map plus restoration magic. Oh, I grabbed authority by mistake. I meant to grab restoration magic. Alright, let's get our ramp going. Guess we'll play this authority. You just like wrench? You know, it's a little random. These cards are pretty annoying. You can build a whole deck out of effects like this nowadays. Authority, sure. More authority. Alright, let's exile this Restless Fortress before I forget they have it. Alright, set an upkeep stop. Scry. I forgot to scry on my turn. Oops. Fountain Port, bottom. Draw Absolute Virtue. Go to our main phase. Like, do we want to just split up on this wrench? Seems kind of pointless. I'd rather just make a treasure with my mana, I think. They consult. They can't kick it. Oh, they are able to kick it. Interesting. Really? More reality fulcrums. Alright, let's make a treasure. Set an upkeep stop. Scry. Absolute Virtue number 3. I mean, they're white and black. This seems like the kind of matchup where we might actually want multiple virtues, so I'll keep number 3. Gonna pass. Here comes wrench. More wrenches. Okay. Well, we have 3 of our 4 absolute virtues, so I guess the chances they have one is low, which is good. Although they've looked at 18 of our cards. They're not doing... They're like... We're at 17 life. The problem is they're going to, like, bust out with Ugin. And that'll be hard to deal with. But we have 3 virtues. So they're tutoring something to put on top. That's not good. Alright, let's do this. Surveil more land to the bottom. Flip our treasure map. Play land. pass. Okay, I think I'll make a fish here. In case they have, like, some kind of sack effect or something. They're gonna demo field my fountain port? Sure. Anchorage. Let's draw a card. Collector's Vault. Alright, let's play a Collector's Vault. I could play my first Virtue here, but I have no protection for it at all. They just instant speed, like, kill it. Day of Judgments. The Ends. I don't want it to get the ended. So I think I have to wait till I have protection. I will just pass. Opponent's getting impatient, but they're the one who's playing Wrench. Outrageous Robbery. Okay. Take two. Alright. Let's vault. Draw, discard. I don't know. Split up. Fountain port. Play fountain port. Play treasure map. Scry. Seam rip. Wait, why did I keep that? That doesn't do anything. Yeah, I'm so afraid of the end, because that means that we can't win. So let's just pass, I guess. I can start attacking with my anchorage. Hardly seems worth it. I think I'll just pass. More outrageous robbery. I mean, they're just gonna deck us at this point. Opponent did find one of our Absolute Virtues. Our fourth Absolute Virtue. I'll take two. Alright, let's try to kill their Absolute Virtue. We know that's the only one they have. They could have, you know, our counter spells. Restoration magic. Okay. Draw a card. Let's draw a card and discard a card. Alright, we have Absolute Virtue plus a Restoration Magic now. The thing is, we'll mill out before our opponent does on account of their outrageous robberies. We'll discard one of our Absolute Virtues, sure. Play our boots. Play our Virtue. Equip boots. But I think we mill out. The end. I should have sleight of handed before doing all this. An offer you can't refuse. Okay. Scry. Bottom. Draw. Discard boots. Okay. And the end means that we lose because they take our Absolute Virtue an hour and a half later. Okay. So that's a deck we don't want to face, is the end deck, because we have one win condition. Restoration Magic. Voice of Victory. Maybe Essence Scatter for the wrenches. It's really about it. Authority's not really good against them. Seam Rip is not really good against them. This is why I like to have Crystal Barricades in my sideboard when I'm playing white, but I don't have them in this case. This hand doesn't ramp and doesn't have a card draw or a Virtue, so I think it's a mulligan. Alright, we'll keep this and bottom. What? Boots? Or land, possibly. Maybe one of these lands. We can draw land. Alright, let's play a vault. Duress. Takes our boots. Oops, we revealed our draw for the turn. That's too bad. Insatiable Avarice. Okay. Treasure map. We'll discard this island, I guess. Sleight of hand. Okay, let's treasure map. Let's sleight of hand. We'll take a Fountain Port. We're going to upkeep Scry. We're going to Scry now and upkeep Scry. Flood Farm Verge. We want to draw Flood Farm Verge. Cruel Claws. I think that's okay. They can take our virtue, which is annoying. Yeah, we want our virtue. I think we'll counter. They get 2 treasures. Authority doesn't matter. Alright, let's treasure map. Scry. Fountain port. Okay. Lay of land. What's up, Maven? How you doing? There's wrench. Okay. Too many black decks. And me without my crystal barricades. So they pilfer the top of our library. Do I want to collector's vault here? Sure. Also want to upkeep scry. We'll discard this land, I guess. Flip our treasure map. Stock up. Think I bottom. They have 4 cards in hand. Like, if they have another discard spell, it's a disaster. I think I need to stock up this turn. Since I didn't draw any form of protection. I could just Absolute Virtue, but then they the end and it's game over. So I think I need to find a way to protect my virtue. Like Voice of Victory boots plus virtue number 2? That doesn't help against the end. Boots plus Voice of Victory means they can't instant speed kill it. It's a tough one. Treasure map lets us get more looks at possible counters or restoration magic. I think I like... Yeah, let's get... Voice of Victory. I don't know. The reason why is because we can cast Boots now. I guess we should. It's again the end. Like, it doesn't matter if I have a second Absolute Virtue in my hand if they have the end. So I can Voice of Victory. Okay, there's an offer also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's just 1 mana less than I would like to have when I try to do the thing. I would like to have 10 mana at least. So I'm gonna pass. Not under any pressure here. Alright, let's create a treasure. Draw. Restoration magic. Alright, well, let's see if they have it. How many removal spells do they have? Is the question. Absolute Virtue. Try to equip the boots. Maybe it's better to not try to equip the boots and just save up 2 1-mana counter spells. Get lost. Restoration magic. If they have another one, I think I'll just scoop. Yeah, okay. GG's, it's the end also. So I could have waited another turn to make sure I had enough mana to double counterspell back up my thing. Probably should have done that. Reza, the Festive Fighter, will be our last opponent. See if we can maintain our virtue for one final victory. I like treasure map on turn 2. That's like our best draw. We'll keep. Alright, so this. This is going to be hard because the Monument of Endurance does not target. It's like Unholy Annex, where it just like deals damage, loses us life. So game 1, I definitely think we were very disadvantaged. All right, map. They already have Monument plus Artist Talent. I was supposed to scry there. I think we've already lost. Like they already like turn 3 have Monument plus Artist Talent, so they're doing at least 3 to us every turn cycle, soon to be 6. I don't think we can beat that draw. In fact, I'm just gonna scoop. We're not beating that. No chance. Okay, exercise, rest in peace, annul. Anything else? Voice of Victory is good. We don't need Authority of the Consuls. Seam Rip is good. I think we want all our rest in pieces. The thing is, we have no way in the main board of removing a monument either. So the only spell they have that can kill a virtue is Combustion Technique. So there's some question as to how many like restoration magics we need. Definitely can cut 1. Because Swiftfoot boots are pretty good. Then again, they can like bounce. They can flood maw our boots, but I think still 2 restoration magic is fine. We don't need like all these sweepers. And I guess we'll just trim a Collector's Vault, a Sleight of Hand. Yeah, let's go 2 boots, 3 boots, 1 restoration magic, 2 and 2. Let's try this. All right. Hopefully our opponent doesn't nut off quite as hard. This is not a keepable hand, unfortunately. We have to mull this 6-lander. Okay, this is better. I'm gonna keep this bottom. Day of Judgment, I guess. Land number 4, good. Like again, like if they just turn 2 Artist Talent, turn 3 Monument, we're in bad shape. I guess Rest in Peace is pretty good though. let's treasure map. It doesn't stop the monument from killing you, though, is the problem. Okay, they don't discard any lessons to their graveyard. Talents. Okay, let's scry. Get lost. Do we want get lost? Probably. Yeah, we'll draw get lost. And you're not running spell pierce, right? No way. Okay. Their exile's gone until they boomerang basics my rest in peace. Set another upkeep stop. Here's the monument. Alright, so yeah, let's scry. We're gonna split up here, but even with the scry, we will have sufficient mana to do so. Boots. You don't need boots. We draw another rest in peace. Go to our main phase. Let's split up. Targeting tap. Set our upkeep stop again. Accumulate wisdom is just an anticipate. Boomerang basics on the Storm Chaser's talent. Play it again, get an otter, sure. Alright, let's scry. Absolute Virtue, yes. Let's draw it. Go to our main phase, play second rest in peace. Now they cannot kill Absolute Virtue. Because they would have to it would take like a series of like 4 burn spells to kill an Absolute Virtue at this point. Still, I wouldn't mind like a Restoration Magic just in case they have it, because that deck always seems to have it what they need. Okay, second Virtue is a decent substitute. Let's just play it. See if this is enough. I mean, they have boomerang basics and into the Flood Maw, of course. Which is pretty bad if they can bounce it, because we can't recast it. Firebending lesson. Demonstration. Okay, so they cobbled 3 removal spells together to get it. Yeah. Alright, well, let's ramp into this second one. Okay, let's get lost. The Storm Chaser's talent, now that they've ultimated. We don't want them to get free otter tokens. Fountain Fort. Alright, next turn we can Virtue again. Anticipate. Artist talent. Yeah, they're just gonna talent us out is the monument now that they have the talent. This is the problem against this deck. Is this interaction is so ridiculous. And I think we're gonna lose to the monument. Because they just they can kill us like on their turn. Yep, we can cast this Virtue. That's pretty cool. But all they need to do is level this up and then cast 2 spells and we die. Each opponent loses 3 life. Our protection doesn't protect against that. They chose to get King Treasure instead. I don't know why. Gleaming Barrier. Well, that doesn't do anything. Attack with our Virtue. Pass. Firebending lesson, so they're gonna triple spell again. It doesn't matter, like they're just casting spells to trigger their monuments. Okay. Kicked. Opponent could have killed us. They could have done 3 damage to us there. Okay. Draw and discard. Alright, we'll scoop. They could have already killed us, but they wanted to just kill our Virtue instead. Well, I mean, however much you try to hate on that deck, it finds a way, because it's the best deck. Alright, so our final result with Virtuous Control was a 1-4, which is disappointing. It's not totally surprising, though. The deck is a little rough. We did get to see, like, what happens when you're able to, you know, get down an Absolute Virtue and protect it. I do really like the way that it really undoes all of the work that our opponent does prior to it resolving. All that matters is, like, can they interact with the Virtue, or do they have some way to cheese it, like with a like with an Unholy Annex or with a Monument to Endurance? What are the problems with the deck? Well, getting to our stuff, you know, like The treasure map is so important to this deck because we're not playing green. We only have like really a couple ways that we can ramp, and treasure map is like so important to this deck. Plus, we also need to find Absolute Virtue, which green is much better at like searching for creatures than blue is. Actually, it can dig deeper for cheap mana values. At a minimum, I think we need to run like 4 sleight of hands just to draw to our pieces when we need to. We probably need to just add more like sweepers to like. I was running 5 sweepers total, 3 Day of Judgments, 2 split up in the main. I cut 1 split up for like a stock up. I think you need to get the sleight of hands up to 4, and you need to add another sweeper. Find some way to cut the rest of the deck to accommodate that plan. Because you need the ramp, you need the Absolute Virtue, you need the protection for it. You need layered protection, you know, because like against the white and black decks, we saw like they can hold up 2 instant speed removal cards to get around your Swiftfoot Boots plus a counter spell. So yeah, we're like really kind of a combo-y deck. So part of the combo is, you know, assembling the ramp and the payoff. And I think just having the extra sweeper will really help us against the creature matchups. And I want some crystal barricades. I took them out for other types of tech, like the Sword of Vengeance you probably could lose. I had that because I was a little salty after losing to like a white Overlord deck that I mistakenly attacked into. You can't attack into a board full of flyers. The Absolute Virtue can die in combat, but I don't think we need the Sword of Vengeance. We could certainly run another sweeper in place of that. And I would find spots for 2 barricades. Like the Clarion Conqueror we don't want because it shuts down our own like treasure maps and Swiftfoot Boots. That this is a kind of a last minute add. Doesn't belong in the deck. So yeah, we've saved 2 slots in our sideboard. So that's 1 extra sweeper plus 1 crystal barricade. Then find another cut for crystal barricade number 2. Maybe you don't need Essence Scatter. If we're adding more sweepers, we can just kill the creatures instead of countering them. So yeah, I think like the deck is the concept is valid. When it actually goes off, it's great, and Absolute Virtue is very, very strong. It's just like putting the pieces together in a way that can withstand standard. It just involves looking at more cards primarily, I think. So definitely need those a sleight of hands. We want the curve of card draw / card selection. We want the cheap stuff because we need to find this stuff early in the game. Anyway, that's going to do it for Azorious Virtuous Control. I did enjoy playing, even though we didn't have a very good record. I think the deck is cool, and you'll be seeing more of it. Maybe I will make a Bant version once Lorwyn comes out and we get Hallowed Fountains and Temple Gardens, because at that point the mana should be a lot easier to work with, and then it does make sense to just run, you know, Battle Cubs. You could run 2 mana Dorks that can tap for any color of mana. Those might be good. If you don't really want to run Badger Bowl Cubs, which I really don't. But we'll see. Anyway, this is not the last you've heard of Absolute Virtue. It was a very virtuous way to start off the year. Didn't do super great, but at least we got to see it go off in the first match. Anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching me play Virtuous Control. If you did and you like off-meta MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I stream MTG on my Twitch channel. Now it's going to be 3 times a week. It's going to be Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. There's a link to the Twitch channel in the description if you want to come check out the action in real time. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you in a few days.